Hello there. This is the first of several videos in which I will demonstrate how to do the labs. So every lab is going to have a video like this, a lab demo video. Please watch them. The majority of questions and concerns that I get from people who don't know how to do the lab are from those who didn't watch these videos. So I'll try to keep it short and to the point, and I'm not going to give you the answers most of the time, but I will guide you through how to get the answers. All right, so this first one, Introduction to Geology. In geology, we have probably the youngest, one of the youngest examples of the scientific method developing a general theory. The theory of plate tectonics wasn't formalized until, I believe, the 70s. And so you're going to read through a series of statements down here that describe, in brief, the history of the theory of plate tectonics. And as you do so, I want you can delete this line, but then write in, for each statement, which part of the scientific method does this demonstrate. So, for example, you can see here all of the options. And so, for example, if you think this first statement here in the late 16th century, Abraham Ortelius was compiling New World explorer maps and noted that the eastern coastlines of North and South America seemed to line up very well with the western coastlines of Europe and Africa. If you think that that has to do with gather data and test predictions, then you would just come down here and write gather data and test predictions. That's simple. There's a bunch of them. You will learn in the process about the theory of plate tectonics, the history of plate tectonics, but you'll also be putting into practice recognizing the different parts of the scientific method. Now, when you go to submit this online, I'm going to jump to that for just a second because it's relevant to this. You're going to fill this out in Microsoft Word just like this. You can, if you want to, you can print it off and fill it out with pencil. That's fine as well. But you'll need to scan that back into a PDF so that you can submit that. And there's more to this that I'll describe in just a moment. But when you actually go to submit it, you will go into the modules. And for this particular lab, Lab 1, there's this Submit Lab 1. Now, Canvas calls these quizzes just because Canvas calls anything that is quiz-like or exam-like a quiz. It's not a quiz in the traditional sense. I'm not testing your knowledge. This is just simply where you input the answers that you already filled out right here. So your answers for this should be identical to the answers on your lab sheet. So you'll click into here, and let me click into student view so you'll see more what it would look like for you. You'll see this here, and you can say take the quiz. And so for this one in the late 16th century, it has the same statement here, and you just select the one that you think it is. So in the example that I said, gather data to test predictions. So that's all it is. You're going to see a bunch of these. Now, I will tell you as well, I want you to go through all of the statements on your lab sheet, but not all of them will appear in the quiz. That's just to make it shorter and a little bit easier. Okay, so once you've finished that for all of these statements, you're going to move on to a part where you're going to be recognizing the differences between observations, inferences, and predictions. So you have a set of pictures here. Now, there's a picture here and a picture here that you can't see yet, and that's because I've changed the color and the brightness and whatnot to basically make it so that you can't view it yet. So you're going to click on this picture, you look at this picture here, and it looks like there's some footprints. What I want you to do is write down your observations. So this is image 1 here, so I want you to write down observations. Only your observations. Don't write down anything that you conclude or believe about it, just what you can observe. And then, on the inferences column, write down, based on those observations, what do you believe? What do you conclude? What what do you infer about these footprints and what's going to happen? And then you can click on this image here, and then you're going to go up to the top here and click Picture Format, and then right here it says Reset Picture. When you click Reset Picture, it will undo all of the formatting that I did to this to disguise the image. And then it'll look like something like this with this yellowish, orangish background and red and green footprints, and it will add another portion of the total image. And then you can add observations, and then your inferences. Now your observations shouldn't be updated, but based on what you view in image 2, your inferences might be different from what they were originally. And then likewise when you do the last one. Now I have had some problems where some people can't view, or for whatever reason when they click on this it won't reset. And so if that happens to be you, I also have in the modules a way for you to view those images here. So that's this footprints right here, this footprints link. Click on the footprints and it will bring up all 3 pictures, but one at a time. You have to scroll down pretty far to get to the next one. And so make sure you look at them one at a time. It's part of the activity. So I'll scroll down so you can see the next one there. Okay, so that's the observations, inferences, and predictions. Lastly, for this lab, don't know why I added an extra sheet, an extra page there. You are going to, I guess not lastly, there's 2 other portions. You're going to have this a rock cycle exercise. So there will be an exercise in Canvas where you're going to be identifying various parts of the rock cycle. In order to help you with that, you're welcome to just jump straight in and answer the questions, but there is an activity that I'll show you in just a second on Canvas that you can do that will enable you to practice that and mess around with the rock cycle and figure out which parts of the rock cycle go where. Let me go to that now. So again, you're going to go to the modules and click on Rock Cycle Drag and Drop Activity. Once it loads, you'll have this here. And so you can click and drag on any of these and put them where you think they'll go. Now some of them won't go. That's because these are all the processes that you're going to be identifying, and these are all the rock types. And so you can only drop a process on a process box. So you see that they color according to where you can drop them. So the rock types can only drop on the rocks. Can only drop on the rock boxes. So you can place those wherever you think. Then you can hit submit, and it will tell you what's correct and what's not correct, and then you can hit retry and start again. So this part will not be graded. This is simply for practice. When you log into the quiz on Canvas, you'll have a slightly different view and a way to identify which parts of the rock cycle go where in the quiz, in the submission form. Very last part of this lab is looking at the interior of the Earth. So the interior of the Earth has multiple layers. You'll have learned about that in your reading and in your lab videos. What I want you to do with this is you can print this off and color it if you want. Colored pencils, markers, whatever. Or you can do this in PowerPoint, and I'll show you how to do this in PowerPoint. It's relatively simple. I recommend printing it off and coloring it. It'll be much easier. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can. You don't have to use this particular image. You can sketch your own if you want, but it does need to include all of these items. So let me show you how you do this in PowerPoint. I'm going to copy this picture. I'm going to open PowerPoint to a blank presentation, and then I like to just change the layout to blank. The reason I'm using PowerPoint, by the way, as opposed to Microsoft Word, is because Microsoft Word will try to, based on the word wrapping, it'll try to move text around, and PowerPoint doesn't do that. So I'm just going to paste that image right in here, and Now I can draw on this. And so let's say I'm going to label A here, and I'm going to color it something. Well, I might zoom in a little bit. And then I particularly like this shape right here, this free-form shape. You can get that from here, or you can get it from Insert, Shapes. That's right here. And then you can just find a point that you want to, I'll just show you right here. You can just, every time you click, you create a new point. Whenever you want to close it into a complete shape, you just go back to where it was, and the preview shows the whole thing getting filled in. That means that it's going to close it up and become one solid shape. Okay, so we can use that right here. Click here, add a couple of points in the middle for some curving, adding a bunch of points right here. You don't have to be this meticulous. All right, and then you color it. So let's say I wanted this to be orange, then I can change it to orange. You can change the outline if you want to black or to no outline, whatever suits you. Okay, and then you can also add in a label here. Oops, not cursed, crust. Now be careful not to copy me exactly, because I don't remember what the colors are off the top of my head, but this probably shouldn't be orange, probably something else. And this, although I will tell you is crust, it's not the correct answer, because you have to put either oceanic crust or continental crust. Probably pretty obvious what I've labeled there. But that's how you do that in PowerPoint. Then once you're done, let's say you have a whole bunch of shapes on there, you can go, you can grab everything by clicking and dragging, or you can also just, on your keyboard, Control A, or in Mac, I believe it's Command A to select all, and then you can copy it, and then in your Microsoft Word file, you can delete the original one, go to, click on the down arrow, and instead of just a normal paste, if you just bring in a normal paste, it'll change the colors because it brings in those objects as separate objects. And it'll change them according to the color theme that's already in this sheet. So instead, click on the down arrow and click Picture. That way it inserts it as one single image that's not editable. And that's how you do that. If you printed it, you'll want to maybe take a picture of it and upload it to whatever you use to sync your pictures with, or you could upload it as a PDF, whatever, and add that in here. However, if you did print it off, it's not as important that you upload that image, because you are going to be submitting this in Canvas, and I'll show you how that gets submitted in the quiz. In the quiz, it'll look like this, and it'll be matching. So you'll A right here, and you're going to match it to whichever one is the correct item here. Okay, that's it. Once you're done, then you will upload a copy. So click on this and you'll upload a copy of your lab sheet. And that is mainly so that there's been several times in the past where somebody accidentally selected the wrong thing. Maybe you meant to select mantle and for whatever reason your mouse slipped and you hit mesosphere. Whatever it is. And so you actually got the correct answer in your head and on your lab sheet, but when you submitted the quiz, it got the answer wrong. This is a way for you to then email me, say, Mr. Rostica, I did the quiz, but something went wrong and it marked me down, but if you take a look at my lab sheet, you'll see that I actually got it correct. And then I can just go look at your lab sheet and see that, yeah, you indeed did do it correctly. Looking at when you upload your lab sheets, it also enables me to just do a quick check and make sure that you actually did the work. So once you're finished with that, click Submit Quiz, and it will score it for you. And then in the next week or so, I will go through and just verify scores, and so you might see an update in grade that way. But generally, you shouldn't expect any change to your grade unless you message me and let me know that there needs to be a change. All right, good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.